Modern Warfare 2 released in 2009, and with it came one of the most controversial moments in gaming history, a single Call of Duty mission from the campaign called No Russian. No Russian didn't just shock players, it made headlines, triggered bans, caused public outrage, and publicly changed how the industry handled mature content. And what's wild is that years later, it's still one of the most talked about missions in gaming history. So today, we're breaking down what No Russian actually was, why it caused real world backlash, how the media reacted, and why Infinity Ward included it in the first place. All without pretending it wasn't ridiculous, uncomfortable, and honestly, insane. Before we get into the video, I'd just like to mention that I have started up a Twitch. I'm going to be live streaming over there every now and again, just chilling out, playing games, having a laugh on stream, and it'll just be a break from the usual videos that we see on YouTube. So that's something that you want to see. I'm going to put the username on the screen. Please give me a follow, and if you can tune into any upcoming streams, that would mean the absolute world to me. So yeah, hopefully I see you over on Twitch, and please enjoy the video. When you first load into No Russian, the game already knows what it's about to do to you. Before the mission even begins, you're hit with a warning message asking you if you want to skip the level entirely. That alone was unheard of at the time. Call of Duty had never asked for the player's permission before. That warning wasn't there for immersion, it was there because Infinity Ward knew that this mission was going to cross a line. And then it starts. You're placed in an airport, unarmed civilians everywhere, and standing next to you is Vladimir Makarov, the most dangerous man in the entire Modern Warfare universe. He turns to his men and says 3 words that would become infamous.
Remember, no Russian.
From that moment on, the game does something incredibly uncomfortable. It removes distance. You're not watching a cutscene, you're not controlling a hero trying to stop it. You're standing inside it, and here's where the controversy really begins. Because the game doesn't technically force you to pull the trigger, but it absolutely allows you to. You can shoot civilians, you can walk beside the group, you can do nothing at all, but no matter what you choose, the massacre still happens anyway. Now, games like GTA have obviously existed up until this point, and in GTA, yes, you can go out and shoot as many civilians as you want. But the difference between GTA and this particular mission was in GTA you have free will, you have the choice to commit those acts if you really wanted to. But in this mission, no matter what you choose to do, the civilians are going to die anyway. This is the first major thing that people misunderstood about No Russian. Players didn't fail the mission by refusing to shoot. There was no moral choice system, there was no hidden good ending. The outcome is fixed every single time. But it leads to a big question then. Why include the mission at all? Almost immediately after release, No Russian exploded beyond gaming forums and YouTube clips and landed straight in mainstream media. News outlets ran the headlines calling it a terrorism simulator. Politicians weighed in, players demanded explanations, and some countries even outright banned or censored the mission. In Russia, the mission was removed entirely. Obviously. In Germany, the mission was heavily altered, changing it so players failed the mission if they shot any civilians, unlike the original where you can participate in the massacre itself. And this was also the case for Japan as well.
A popular new video game actually allows you to be a terrorist and kill people. Take a look. The controversial new video game is called Modern Warfare 2, and it is flying off the shelves. But is this fantasy game just a little too real? And is it appropriate? Let's have a fair and balanced debate on this.
This wasn't just gaming controversy, it became a cultural one. And what really fueled the fire was timing. You see, Modern Warfare 2 released in a world that was still very sensitive to terrorism, mass shootings, and airport attacks. The idea that a popular video game could let players participate in something resembling a real-world atrocity was enough to send the media into full panic mode. But here's the part that almost never gets mentioned in those headlines. No Russian was never meant to be fun. Infinity Ward wasn't trying to create a power fantasy, they were trying to make players feel uncomfortable on purpose, and that distinction matters the most. From a narrative perspective, No Russian exists for one reason: They establish Makarov as irredeemable, to show that he truly is a proper villain. Up until that point, Call of Duty villains were threats, but they were still distant. Al-Assad was mostly just a name. Zakhaev was a target. Makarov, though, is different. No Russian isn't about you as the player. It's about showing you who he is. And the genius or madness of the mission is that it implicates the player without giving them control. You're playing as an undercover CIA operative embedded deep within Makarov's inner circle. Your job is to maintain your cover at all costs. If you intervene, you die and the mission ends. If you don't, you survive, but you're complicit. There is no winning, and Infinity Ward wanted it that way. Now here's where things get darkly ironic. Despite all the outrage, the mission actually punishes the player for being there in the first place. After the massacre, Makarov shoots you anyway. He knows that you're American, and he uses your body to frame the United States for the attack. This mission isn't glorifying violence, it's weaponizing it narratively. We try explaining that nuance to a news anchor in 2009. The funniest part of the controversy though is how the gaming community reacted compared to the media. Players weren't outraged, they were genuinely stunned. Some players were uncomfortable, some were impressed, some laughed nervously because they didn't know how else to react. But very few people thought that the mission was actually fun, and that's exactly why it worked. No Russian wasn't shocking because it let you shoot innocent civilians. It was shocking because it refused to give you a heroic alternative. You couldn't stop it, you couldn't save anyone, and you couldn't change the outcome. And for a franchise built on power and control, that was new. What's even more interesting is how Call of Duty quietly learned from the backlash. After No Russian, the series never crossed that line again. Later controversial missions like civilian moments in Black Ops or torture scenes in Modern Warfare 2019 were either shorter or abstract or framed in a way that gave players emotional distance. No Russian remains a one-off. Infinity Ward never tried to top it. Activision never marketed anything like that again. It completely stands alone. And yet, despite all of that, the bans, the headlines, the outrage, No Russian is still remembered as one of Call of Duty's most important missions. Not because it was enjoyable, not because it was fun to replay, but because it proved that games could do something uncomfortable. It forced players to sit in silence, to question their role, and to feel powerless. And for a series known for spectacle, that restraint is kind of insane. Looking back now, No Russian feels like a moment that could only exist in that era of Call of Duty. A time where developers were willing to take risks, when the franchise wasn't afraid of backlash, when shock wasn't used for clicks, but for narrative impact. Now, would it be released today? Would it go viral for the complete wrong reasons? Definitely. But whether you loved it, hated it, or even skipped the mission entirely, No Russian did exactly what it set out to do. It made people talk, it made people uncomfortable, and it made Call of Duty impossible to ignore. And honestly, that's why we're still talking about it all these years later. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to drop a like, please do, and leave a comment telling me what you thought on this moment in Call of Duty history. If there's anything you'd like to add, is there anything I missed, please let me know. And leave a comment if you want me to make any specific videos coming up. Any ideas that you have, please leave it down below and I will definitely check them out. But that's it from me, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day and I'll catch you in the next one.